Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you are doing well, and today we're going to be talking about the 13 mistakes that Rec Room players commonly make. If you find this video entertaining, then don't forget to use code TARA the next time you're in Rec Room, or just hit the big old support button on my profile. I would appreciate it a lot. Also, today's video is sponsored by VRWave, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. For now, let's just get right into it. Number 1. Not trying every Rec Room original. If you're anything like me, when you first started Rec Room, you just gravitated to one or two of the Rec Room originals like paintball or laser tag. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that per se. They're really popular for a reason, and it's a great way to meet new friends and challenge yourself. However, a mistake I made when first starting out was to put myself in that little restricted activity box for far too long. It wasn't about until 6 or 8 months into playing the game that I realized what Rec Royale was all about, and I fell in love with it. Stunt Runner is another underrated gem. There's over 20 Rec Room originals in total, so if you're new to the game, or even if you're not, challenge yourself to try them all. I'm sure you're getting sick of the same paintball maps by now anyway, and you never know which RROs you might have yet to discover that you really enjoy. Just watch out for the guns in Showdown, especially if you're coming from another PvP. Those guns have a mind of their own. Don't say I didn't warn you. Number 2. Not knowing how to do challenges to level up. Another huge mistake that people make when they play Rec Room is not even realizing that there are daily or weekly challenges in their watch. Well, right now the weekly challenges are on a bit of a hiatus, but they still come around periodically. But to level up faster, get more rewards boxes, and therefore tokens and cool outfit items, completing these challenges is a must. The daily is always something ridiculously simple, like cheer someone, play one round of Golden Trophy, shoot a basket in the rec center. Actually, that one is harder than it looks, at least for me. But in the end, you get a free gift box. The weekly challenges are a bit more involved, but you typically get a weapon skin at the end, and oh man, I would have had so many more camera and weapon skins had I just realized this was a thing when I started playing the game. I was busy learning other things and exploring, so I can't kick myself too much, but yeah, still dreaming about that gold confetti paintball pistol skin I never got. Number 3. Not friending or favoriting people. I think all too common of an error for people in Rec Room is meeting someone cool and then forgetting or being too shy to friend request them. Huge mistake. As someone who has played this game for over 2 years, let me tell you something. It's hard to find good people. I mean, not to say most people are toxic or anything, but if you're actually looking for quality friends who meet a certain list of friendship traits, you're going to be looking for a while. For example, I prefer to hang out with people on VR with a mic who are close in age to me and have a good sense of humor. I think there goes like 87% of the Rec Room population right there. So I quickly learned to friend people who seemed somewhat cool and interesting, even if we only chatted briefly. Alternatively, friending too many people is all fine and well until you can't remember if it was Jovial Jaguar 465 or Terrific Tarantula 681 that you really had fun hanging out with last time. Hence the second part of this point, not favoriting people can be as bad as not friending them. I always advocate for having a well-sorted friends list. It pays off in the end. Mind you, that's no longer applicable to me. I'm approaching 90,000 friends in Rec Room, and the friend requests keep flowing in daily, sometimes a couple hundred of them at a time. God bless my auto-clicker. For reals. But that just solidifies my point for prioritizing favorites. For me, they would just disappear into a sea of people if I didn't, and it would be good luck ever finding them again. Number 4. Not continuing to play Rec Room after a mediocre experience. If you have some misadventures at the start of playing Rec Room, and I'm sure we all have, then you might make the big mistake of turning off the game and never returning. I was just a couple of play hours into Rec Room when I decided to try out a zombies PvP map. The map itself was rather disappointing, but I opted to stick around because I wanted to learn how to play and what the weapons were. Eventually, I got shot and respawned. When I headed back to the same area, I overheard the group of players saying that they just targeted me specifically because I was a girl. Then they shot me again. I remember just taking off my new VR headset, going to my room, and wondering why people could be so mean for no reason. Rec Room was the first social game I ever played. I know, what was I doing with my life before that? I mean, I had bad internet for the most part. All the games I enjoyed were typically offline, and I never thought to play online games. Don't judge me. The point is, I honestly thought seriously that I wouldn't play Rec Room again afterwards, just to make myself feel better. Why talk and try to have fun if people are just gonna be so rude? Luckily, I convinced myself otherwise because obviously my career is based off the game, and also 1 or 2 bad experiences doesn't mean that's what the entire game consists of. If I had to go back in time, knowing what I know now, I'd have just laughed, switched lobbies, and moved on. Obviously, there's some dumb toxic kids out there that would shoot a girl in a PvP for being a girl, existing, whatever. I made the mistake of letting it bother me. Number 5. Not favoriting good maps. To my previous point, not friending people can lead to a bit of heartache and unrequited friendships. What can lead to angst and confusion, however, is trying to remember a random map you visited once upon a time that you now want to return to. People make this mistake all the time. If you didn't hit the favorite button while you were there, the chances are you may forget forever what it was called. For me, this has been a source of contention, so I'm always really quick to hit the favorite button, even if I'm in a room I'm only half sure I want to come back to. It helps the creators too if you cheer and fave the room, so there's no harm in it. The only drawback is that in Rec Room, you can only view the last 100 favorited rooms or so. You have to actually go on rec.net to see your entire cached list. Speaking of, rec.net is a great place to find new rooms to favorite and check it out, so be a savvy player and get organized. Number 6. Not talking when it's a social game. When I was new to Rec Room, I was super shy. I know, hard to believe, over 2 years later, and a lot of people people would consider me kind of a loudmouth. I swear, I'm still shy. It just depends on the situation and who is around. But Rec Room really did help me overcome a lot of my social anxiety. I think people make the mistake of keeping their mic off in game and missing out on a lot of experiences because they're shy. If you're one of those people, trust me, learning to come out of your shell and push yourself may lead to some negative experiences. After all, it's a social game and there will always be some rude people. However, if you look at the overall big picture, you'll learn that opening up leads to a much more enriching experience as a whole, and you'll likely forge some awesome friendships. You can start small, laugh and say GG's when someone downs you in paintball, ask someone in the rec center if they have any tips for Rec Room quests, go play a room with a smaller room capacity like paddleball if you have difficulty talking in front of multiple people. Slowly but surely, I think you'll be thankful you opted to start socializing. Before we continue on with the video, let's take a moment to give a shout out to today's sponsor, VR Wave. These guys are the lifesavers you didn't know you needed if you're someone who wears glasses and wants to enjoy the virtual reality experience without feeling like you're not being immersed due to your less than stellar vision. Their prescription lenses are made to fit right into your VR headset with ease, so you can wave goodbye to the struggle of trying to fit glasses in there. And even if you're a lucky person like me with perfect vision, you can still benefit from their blue light, non-prescription lenses that protect against the potential harmful effects of blue light exposure. I mean, who wants to mess up their sleep cycle just for some extra VR time, am I right? Plus, those lenses will keep your headset looking brand spanking new by preventing scratches. But that's not all. VR Wave has also got your headset covered with other accessories such as carrying cases, cozy face covers, and head straps, making sure that you're ready for the ultimate VR experience. So head on over to the link in their description below and check them out. Alright, now let's get back to the fun stuff and talk about more mistakes that Rec Room players commonly make. Number 7. Not getting free items. I made a video on this recently actually. There's a lot of ways to get free items in Rec Room. There's rooms you can go to and the free clothing item either just spawns there right away or after a short quest through the map. You can do quest run-throughs and get free clothing items at the end. You can also stay on top of Rec Room's social media and see when they announce free items for events and special occasions. But people make the mistake of thinking they have to buy every single thing with tokens, and that's simply not the case. You can obtain some pretty cool drip if you just get savvy with the game. Number 8. Not taking a chance and inviting new friends. I think most people who play Rec Room make a couple friends, then go back on to play, and they just repeat going to random public lobbies instead of checking their new friends list. I truly believe that the most important friendships are forged over time, and you do that by going back to hang out with people that you obviously made friends with for a reason the first time you met. As scary as it is to invite someone while you're standing alone in your dorm, unsure if they're going to join or decline you, it's worth trying a few times. I still get nervous inviting people, honestly. The fear of rejection is real. You just gotta push past it though. Think of the friendship bonding moments. You can do it. Number 9. Not trying community-made maps. Although one of my previous points in this video is literally to play all of the Rec Room original games, that's another ballgame. Most people who play Rec Room make the huge oversight of sticking only to those, and they never venture out into player-made maps. Yes, some of them are crap. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that they're all phenomenal. However, by far, most of the cool memories I have in Rec Room took place in community maps. I'm gonna put a few up on the screen here right now so you can see what I mean. Maps like Aladdin, I Miss Us, Maze Runners, Slytherin Common Room, FNAF Security Breach, Whoville Holiday, Alpine Cabin, and I could go on. I have literally hundreds of favorite rooms on my account, but you get the point. There's so much more to explore, and yet too many people just assume that the game starts and ends with Rec Room Originals. Trust me when I say there's a whole world out there that you could be exploring. Number 10. Not playing public lobbies to level up. Oh, I remember making this mistake. I thought once I made a few friends in Rec Room that it would be more fun to play private lobbies with them, so after a year of playing Rec Room every single day, I realized I still wasn't at level 50. Someone then informed me that private lobbies don't count for much, if any XP, and my jaw dropped. I had wasted months trying to level up in a completely futile manner. Once I clued in and started playing Rec Royale in public lobbies, I zoomed through my 40s and quickly approached the XP cap in the game. So note that if you're trying to hit level 50 faster, you should definitely not do what I did. You can still play exclusively with your friends. Most time if you're partied up and you go to a public lobby, it will squeeze everyone in there and it won't be a problem. You might even meet a few new friends while you're at it, especially in RROs with higher room capacities like Rec Royale or 3D Charades. Number 11. Not buying the starter pack. So there's this starter pack that you can get when you first start playing Rec Room, and I wish I had bought it sooner. You get a really good deal and a bunch of tokens and some bonus consumables and I think even a hoodie. I'm not entirely sure, it's been a while, but it's a very good deal for the money and you can only buy it once as a new player. So if you're new and enjoying Rec Room, I say splurge. It's under $10 and you get a lot of bang for your buck. One of the first things you'll realize playing the game is that tokens aren't exactly easy to come by, so do yourself a favor and just grab the starter pack. Number 12. Not adjusting settings. One huge mistake I see people make all the time, even as seasoned Rec Room players, is not customizing their settings. It just takes like 5 minutes and you can do things like shut off that annoying black circle that pops up whenever you jump in VR or fall off a ledge. It's just there to prevent motion sickness, so if you don't have an issue with that, I say turn it off, especially if you do any filming. It's annoying. You can turn other players' voice lines and names off, make it so that the music volume is higher or lower, and even go from standing to seated mode if you play in VR. That means you don't have to look 3'4" now when you sit down in your chair. You can remain a normal height and people are none the wiser. Number 13. Not learning how to block and mute. I am guilty of making the mistake of not learning how to block and mute people. When I first started in Rec Room, I just suffered through toxic people. I don't know why I didn't realize how easy it was. There's a shortcut hand gesture, but for me, going near someone and pointing at them and opening up their profile and then hitting mute or block has been the most efficient. There's literally no need to put up with people's bad behavior, and you are going to see bad behavior. So familiarizing yourself with these controls sooner rather than later is going to benefit you a ton and save your ears from hearing toxic things you don't need or want to hear. What are some mistakes that you made when you first started playing Rec Room? Let me know in the comments. And then if you want to watch another Rec Room video, check out this one here.